Hello Year 4s and welcome to your next flipped classroom video. In today's video, I am going to be sharing three folk tales with you. And they come from different countries, obviously, and hopefully you enjoy them and you use some of the ideas that I'm sharing with you today, possibly when you are looking at your innovation. So let me share my screen with you. Our story map. Right, so this one is called Why the Cheetah's Cheeks Are Stained. Long ago, a wicked and lazy hunter was sitting under a tree. He was thinking that it was too hot to be bothered with the arduous task of stalking prey through the bushes. Below him in the clearing on the grassy veldt, there were fat springbok grazing. But this hunter couldn't be bothered, so lazy was he. He gazed at the herd, wishing that he could have the meat without the work, when suddenly he noticed a movement off to the left of the buck. It was a female cheetah seeking food. Keeping downwind of the herd, she moved closer and closer to them. She singled out a springbok who had foolishly wandered away from the rest. Suddenly she gathered her long legs up under her and sprang forward. With great speed, she came upon the springbok and brought it down. Startled, the rest of the herd raced away as the cheetah quickly killed her prey. The hunter watched as the cheetah dragged her prize to some shade on the edge of the clearing. There, three beautiful cheetah cubs were waiting for her. The lazy hunter was filled with envy for the cubs and wished that he could have such a good hunter provide for him. Imagine dining on delicious meat every day without having to do the actual hunting. Then he had a wicked idea. He decided that he would steal one of the cheetah cubs and train it to hunt for him. He decided to wait until the mother cheetah went to the waterhole late in the afternoon to make his move. He smiled to himself. When the sun began to set, the cheetah left her cubs concealed in a bush and set off to the waterhole. Quickly, the hunter grabbed his spear and trotted down to the bushes where the cubs were hidden. There he found the three cubs, still too young to be frightened of him or to run away. He first chose one, then decided upon another, and then changed his mind again. Finally, he stole them all, thinking to himself that three cheetahs would undoubtedly be better than one. When their mother returned half an hour later and found her babies gone, she was broken-hearted. The poor mother cheetah cried and cried until her tears made dark stains down her cheeks. She wept all night and into the next day. She cried so loudly that she was heard by an old man who came to see what the noise was all about. Now, this man was wise and knew the way of the animals. When he discovered what the wicked hunter had done, he became very angry. The lazy hunter was not only a thief, he had broken the tradition of the tribe. Everyone knew that a hunter must use only his own strength and skill. Any other way of hunting was surely a dishonor. The old man returned to the village and told the elders what had happened. The villagers became angry. They found the lazy hunter and drove him away from the village. The old man took the three cheetah cubs back to their grateful mother, but the long weeping of the cheetah stained her face forever. Today, the cheetah wears the tear stains on its face as a reminder to the hunter that it is not honorable to hunt in any other way than that which is traditional. The next story we are going to look at is called Jack and the Beanstalk, which is one you will be very familiar with. This is a shorter version of it. There obviously are quite longer ones, but obviously let's read it together. Once upon a time, there was a boy called Jack. He lived with his mother. They were very poor. All they had was a cow. One morning, Jack's mother told Jack to take their cow to the market and sell her. On the way, Jack met a man. He gave Jack some magic beans for the cow. Jack took the beans and went back home. When Jack's mother saw the beans, she was very angry. She threw the beans out the window. The next morning, Jack looked out of the window. There was a giant beanstalk. He went outside and started to climb the beanstalk. He climbed up to the sky through the clouds. Jack saw a beautiful castle. He went inside. He heard a voice. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Jack ran into a cupboard. An enormous giant came into the room and sat down. On the table there was a hen and a golden harp. Lay, said the giant. The hen laid an egg. It was made of gold. Sing, said the giant. The harp began to sing. Soon the giant was asleep. Jack jumped out of the cupboard. He took the hen and the harp. Suddenly the harp sang, Help, master. The giant woke up and shouted, Fee, fi, fo, fum. Jack ran and started climbing down the beanstalk. The giant came down after him. Jack shouted, Mother, help! Jack's mother took an axe and chopped down the beanstalk. The giant fell and crashed to the ground. Nobody ever saw him again. With the golden eggs and the magic harp, Jack and his mother lived happily ever after. And the last one we're going to share with you today is called How Water Lilies Began. And there's a little bit of backstory on this one. It says this is a folktale from Wales, a small country west of England. It tells how water lilies came to grow in the lake of the Welsh mountains. It was all because of Huffel, a farmer's son who loved to play the harp and never went to school. Huffel lived with his mother in a humble cottage by the side of a mountain. Every morning he drove his mother's black and white cows up the mountain, where they spent the day in a meadow by the side of the lake. One day, Hal took his harp and played a few chords as he watched over the herd. To his astonishment, 6 silver cows rose out of the water, drawn by the music. Their coats gleamed in the sunlight as they gathered around Hal and listened to him play. They stayed with the herd all day, following the rest of the cows back to the farm for that evening. Hal's mother felt very fortunate to have such fine new cows. She boasted to her neighbors that they gave twice as much milk as the black and white ones, and she added that the milk was of exceptional quality. All went well until one of the silver cows stopped giving milk. After waiting a few days, Hal's mother told the butcher to come the next day and take the cow away. Hal pleaded with his mother to spare the animal, but she wouldn't relent. She told Hal that they couldn't afford to have even one cow eating grass and giving nothing in return. The boy knew how obstinate his mother could be once her mind was made up, but he argued with her for as long as he dared. When his mother told him to be quiet, he knew he had no choice but to submit to her will. The next morning, as he trudged up the mountain, Hal could think of nothing but the beautiful silver cow that was going to be sold. The music he played on his harp that day became increasingly melancholy, until at last his eyes filled with tears. He could play no more. He stood up and threw his harp into the lake. At once, the strange thing happened. The 6 silver cows ran to the edge of the lake and plunged in. They were never seen again. Soon masses of silver water lilies began to grow all along the fringe of the lake where the silver cows had jumped in. They still grow there today. Hal's mother died long ago, and Hal is now an old man. If you should meet him and tell him you don't believe the story, he will be happy to take you up the mountain and show you the beautiful silver water lilies. So those are the 3 stories I'm going to share with you today. What I would like you to do is tell me which one of those 3 stories is your favorite.